Hello, hello, hello. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to J. Lippman Live. I hope you can hear me. Quick systems check. I need to take these off for now. Hold on. Quick systems check. Let me know that everything is good, that I'm coming through loud and clear, because audio is a very, very important part of this stream. So if I'm not coming through, I definitely got to change some stuff. Anyway, welcome to J. Lippman Live. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jay, and here on this stream, here on this channel, we talk about video editing, mostly Davinci Resolve stuff, but I do love diving into the theory of editing, the art of editing, and tactics that you can use no matter what editing software you're using. So normally, Refrag, thank you so much. Normally, the way this would go is I would say just throw your questions into the chat, but this is a very, very special stream. So let me get a couple things out of the way before we get started. First, let's jump into the chat, start saying hi to some people, and then I'll tell you what we're going to be doing during this stream, because this is not a typical live stream. This is a fun one. This one's special. Plus, I'm using some new equipment, which is really, really cool. You'll hear more about that in a couple weeks. Congrats on hitting 30K subs. Thank you so much. All right, here we go. Let's jump into the chat here. David Hunt, what's going on? Thank you so much for joining the stream. Jelly Duck, good to see you, man. It's been a while. I missed you while I was on vacation. Perry Comics, what's going on? Refrag, hello. Burn It Down, what's going on? All right, you guys, this is the first stream I've done in a month. So if I seem a little bit scattered, that is why. I was out of town. I was on a family vacation. I had a blast. We can talk about all of that next week. But this week we have a very special edition of the live stream. This stream is actually sponsored by Accusonus. So we're going to be talking about their newest plugin bundle, the Era 5 plugins. These are audio plugins that are for they're used for audio cleanup, and we're going to do a deep dive. I got Davinci Resolve all set up. This is going to be kind of a live demo, live training type of deal. Now, I will be doing Q&A towards the end of this stream, but I'm sure that the chat will be flying a little bit faster than it is right now. I'm on top chat. Why am I on top chat? I hate being on top chat. There we go. Now we are in live chat. So if you have questions, please, two things. One, use the link that's in the description. That'll take you to a form where you can fill it out, and I'll get to those questions towards the end of the stream. Second favor I need to ask of you is please keep the questions to questions about the Era 5 plugin. Those are the only questions I'm going to be answering today. Like I said, next week we'll be back to our normal streams, but today is all about the Era 5 plugins from Accusonus. And first of all, let's talk a little bit about audio. I mean, you know my feelings about audio. I'm an audio guy, right? Audio is one of, if not the most important part of any video. Your ears know that they don't like what they're hearing faster than your eyes know that they don't like what they're seeing. So if you can get your audio right, even if the video doesn't look its best, you can probably get people to watch your video till the end. They can get engaged in the story. But the second your audio sounds really, really bad, that's when people are going to start clicking off of your video. They're going to stop watching. It's audio is important, and it's even more important to get the cleanest audio you can when you're filming. Hey, Alex Del Bianco, hello. First time watching you live. Thank you so much for being here. Leela, hello. For you two who just joined, I unfortunately will be ignoring the chat for most of this stream, but I really want to answer your questions towards the end. So if you have questions, please use the form in the description of this live stream, and please keep your questions to the Era 5 bundle. So audio is important. We know this, right? And you know my feelings about it. I'm rather passionate about audio. It's really important to get clean recordings, right? It's important to get the audio right straight out of the microphone, so to speak, right? You don't want to have to go in and clean up a whole bunch of stuff. You don't want to have to go in and deal with noise and plosives and clipping and reverb and all that horrible horrible stuff. But every so often something happens. Maybe you've got the audio levels wrong and now all of a sudden you've got a ton of noise, or maybe you didn't sound treat well enough, or you didn't use the right microphone for the right situation. Now you've got a whole bunch of reverb. Maybe you accidentally had your recording levels too loud and now you're doing a whole bunch of clipping. There are a ton of things that can go wrong when you're doing audio work, right? There's a ton of stuff, and that's where the Accusonus Era 5 bundle comes in. This is a full suite of audio cleanup tools. It is the most intuitive, it really is. It's like the most simple to use, intuitive set of plugins that I have ever come across. They do great things. I got a hold of the Era 4 plugin bundle back when they released that, and it was absolutely amazing. And they reached out recently, right before I went on my vacation. They asked me if I wanted to check out and do a live training on the Era 5 bundle. And there's some really cool stuff. There's an auto EQ plugin, which is absolutely amazing. So we're gonna be looking at that. So here, thank you so much, Leela. So guys, before we dive into Davinci Resolve, couple quick things. Matt Jackson, what's going on, sir? Good to see you. Couple quick things. Again, I'm going to be ignoring the chat for most of this. I'm not even going to be able to see it because I'll be in Davinci Resolve. 2, I will only be answering questions about the Era 5 plugin bundle. And 3, if you're interested in checking out the bundle for yourself, it is linked in the description directly below the link for the form where you can fill out questions. And with that being said, let's throw on some headphones and jump into Davinci Resolve. Hearing myself on the headphones, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. All right, let's jump into Davinci Resolve and go ahead and put me up there. Hi, guys. That looks weird. Let's come over here. All right, so we're actually in OBS right now. And now we're in Davinci Resolve. Okay, so I have 9 clips here. These were all actually provided by Accusonus. So I did record a bunch of stuff, but they said it wasn't extreme enough. So they sent me over some clips to use as an example. We're going to go through just plugin by plugin. Installing these plugins is really easy. It's just a matter of downloading them, unzipping the file, and running the installer. And then in Davinci Resolve, if you want to activate them, you can come over to where is it? Davinci Resolve, Preferences, Audio Plugins, and then you can check and uncheck any audio plugins that you want to use or not use. You can enable all, you can disable all. And once you do that, you hit save, and you'll have to restart Davinci Resolve in order to have those plugins activated. So I already have these installed, so let's go ahead and click cancel. I can't talk. We've got 9 clips. We are going to go ahead and play these. This first one has a ton of noise, and lots of things can cause noise. You can have fans in the background. You can have compressors. You guys remember when I used to have like a little mini fridge right here, and the compressor would kick on every now and then, and I would get noise in my audio, and it was absolutely horrible. But you can get that from fans. You can even get that from having your gain turned up too much, and then you'll get weird static. So that's what we've got here. Let's go ahead and play that.
To sum up this review, I love this phone case and I definitely recommend it. I love it because of the bulk that it gives my phone, and it's actually a 2-piece case, so there's more protection, and it saved my phone more than a couple of times.
All right, so that's really noisy and really bad. So let's come up, open up our effects library, and if we come down to VST effects, these are all of the audio plugins that I have installed. There's a lot of them. I don't use them very often, to be honest, but they're there in case I need them, which is nice. So let's go ahead and find Era 5 Noise Remover. Now, the plugins can be dropped either on the clip or on the track, or if your mixer is open, you can drop it on the track in the mixer. So right now we're just going to drop this on the track, and you'll see that this little module pops up, and all it is a dial and a couple little things you can click here, and that's it. There's no learning that needs to be done like in most standard noise reduction. It's like the simplest interface, and it looks like it won't do a very good job. But let's go ahead and play around with this. The way you do it is you just choose down here which frequencies you want to focus on. So this will focus on all of the frequencies. This band here, high frequency focus, low frequency, high and low frequency, and then mid frequencies. We're going to keep this. Hearing myself is absolutely horrible. I don't like it. So let's go ahead and stick with all frequencies, and we're going to play this back.
So to sum up this review, I love this phone case and I definitely recommend it. I love it because of the bulk that it gives my phone, and it's actually a two-piece case, so there's more protection and it saved my phone more than a couple of times.
Today we're going to talk about the best ice cream place in town.
There we go. Forgot to stop it. All right. That sounded a lot better. I mean, what do you guys think? Let me know in the chat. Did that sound better to you? Because that sounded a lot better to me. And really all it was choosing how much noise reduction processing we were doing. Now, these plugins were meant to be most effective between 50% and 75%. Below 50%, you might get a little bit of a result, but if you go above 75%, it's going to start acting weird. That's when you start getting that weird warbly sound that you get when you have too much noise reduction. So, but let me know in the chat real quick. Did that much better? There we go. True, but it also makes it easier for us to hear that noise in the clip. What? Oh, the clip is crazy. That's because my audio here is normalized and the audio in Davinci Resolve is not. There's no processing on it. So much better. There we go. So that's what noise reduction does. It's super simple. There's no learning or anything. It's just put it on there and run it. And that's it. So we fixed the noise. Let's move on to the next clip real quick. Davinci Resolve. And this time, I'm going to remember picture in picture. All right. All right, next we're going to test our auto EQ. Let's go ahead and listen to our clip.
Today we're going to talk about the best ice cream place in town. I've always felt that a good gelato place was missing around here, but it's finally here and it's amazing. It's a family business. Everything's organic and super tasty, and vegan options are also available.
All right, so that sounds to me very, very muddy. It's not clear at all. We definitely need to EQ this. Now, normally I would go in to my EQ, my parametric equalizer, and I would use the 6 bands that I have available. Can't talk. I'd use the 6 bands that I have available to bring down the unwanted frequencies, maybe add a little bit of high end, a little bit of low end, and clean it up a little bit. In this case, what we're going to do is grab our Era 5 voice auto EQ, drop that on the track. Now, this is the only plugin out of all of them that requires some kind of learning. So you'll see here, it says waiting for playback. So once I start playing that clip, it'll learn and it'll clean it up. Let's go ahead and play that real quick.
Today we're going to talk about the best ice cream place in town. I've always felt that a good gelato place was missing around here, but it's finally here and it's amazing. It's a family business, everything's organic and super tasty, and vegan options are also available.
And you can use this little dot inside of this triangle to add more body, more air, and more clarity. So let's play that back.
Today we're going to talk about the best ice cream place in town. I've always felt that a good gelato place was missing around here, but it's finally here and it's amazing. It's a family business, everything's organic and super tasty, and vegan options are also available.
Pretty cool, right? Like there's no bands or anything. It's just letting it learn and then moving this little dot around until it sounds the way that you want it. This plugin was not on the Era 4 bundle. So this is actually brand new to the Era 5 one, and it's incredible. Like when I saw auto EQ, I was honestly like really skeptical. Sorry if you're picking up a little bit of echo cuz you can, hear the headphones, but I was really skeptical of this plugin because I mean, how do you auto EQ something? But I started playing around with it and I was like, oh my God, I've actually used this on 1 or 2 of my videos when I started playing around with this. So let's go ahead, come back here. Can you drop one a clip of the whole track? Wait, I'm sorry. Can you drop one on a clip instead of the whole track? That's how I'd probably use it the most at the clip level. All right. Yeah, I can do that. We'll do that on the next one. Hey, Daniela, how you doing? So, all right, yeah, we'll do that on the next one. But all right, let's see here. Let's move back into Davinci Resolve real quick. All right, let's get rid of the auto EQ. All right, move on to the voice leveler. Now, here's the thing about voice leveler. You guys have heard me talk about this plugin on this live stream before. Voice leveler is exactly what it sounds like. It evens out the highs and the lows, kind of like what a compressor does, but a little bit more extreme. Now, the very important thing about a voice leveler is if you're going to run a voice leveler, you need to run noise reduction before you do it. Now, the clip that I'm about to show you doesn't really have any noise, so we don't have to worry about that. But if you're going to be using a voice leveler, and that's not just this plugin, but I know that Premiere Pro, or not Premiere Pro, they might have it, but I know Audition has a voice leveler as well, and you want to run noise reduction before you do the voice leveler, otherwise it's going to bring the noise up as well, and it's going to sound really bad. So let's go ahead and listen. Oh wait, no, we're not doing the voice leveler, we're doing the voice deepener. Voice deepener is pretty cool. Let's go ahead, and it does exactly what you would think. It deepens your voice. So let's go ahead and play this clip real quick.
I started this YouTube channel to share my fitness journey, hoping to motivate myself as well as anyone else who was in the same place as me. The love and support I've received all these years has been amazing. Thank you for everything. Really.
Hey, ladies and gents.
Okay, so nothing too bad about that, but it is a little bit pitchy. It is a little bit, it's not very pleasing to the ears, if that makes any sense. It really attacks the eardrum. So what we're going to do is deepen that voice a little bit to actually make it softer on the ears and make it sound better. So let's go ahead and this time, as requested by Matt Jackson, we're going to grab the voice deepener and we're just going to drop it on the clip. Now these are all stereo clips, but if I drop it on one of the tracks, you'll see where it says FX here and FX here. That is it automatically applies the effect to both tracks on the clip. So we've got our voice deepener. Let's go ahead and play and listen.
I started this YouTube channel to share my fitness journey, hoping to motivate myself as well as anyone else who was in the same place as me. The love and support I've received all these years has been amazing. Thank you for everything. Really.
Hey, ladies.
All right. So I actually like that. It brings up the low end. It lowers the pitch. It sounds more full. It was very empty before. Now there's two different modes of the voice deepener. There's normal and punchy. It's hard to explain the difference, so I'll let you listen.
I started this YouTube channel to share my fitness journey, hoping to motivate myself as well as anyone else who was in the same place as me. The love and support I've received all these years has been amazing. Thank you for everything. Really.
Hey, ladies and gents, you may have...
So punchy it's just a little more extreme. The only problem, I don't know if you caught that, there's a little bit more noise because the boost on that low end is a little bit, it's a little bit more extreme. So there you go. That is voice deepener. It's fun. I haven't yet come across a scenario where I would need it, but I can see where I could use it. If I'm recording an interview, somebody's voice just sounds a little flat, I can use this to really deepen it up. All right, Reverb, the enemy of all my videos. So let's talk about Reverb real quick. First of all, the best way to avoid reverb is to not record it. So you need, audio treatments, or failing that, just using a better microphone. And by better, I don't mean higher quality. I mean the right microphone for the right situation. For example, this room here that I am in has zero treatment whatsoever. And so if I was using a typical shotgun microphone, it would probably sound bad. Now, it would sound a little bit better if I was using a dynamic microphone, but instead what I'm using is a small diaphragm condenser microphone, otherwise known as a pencil mic, which are really, really good for indoor dialogue because they are less sensitive from the rear than a shotgun mic is. So it's not going to pick up as many of those reflections. This clip that I'm about to play man, I'm getting ahead of myself. We're doing voice leveler now. Sorry, guys. First stream in over a month. Can you tell? I can tell. Can you tell? All right. Back up. Voice leveler. You guys know the voice leveler. Best way to avoid needing to use a voice leveler is just to make sure that your subject is speaking at a relatively even volume. Now, that can be hard, but that's really the only way. And also make sure that the microphone is constantly, pointed at this subject, because I'm right here just below my microphone. But if I back up here, I'm a little bit quiet. I'm talking just as loud, but I'm farther away from the mic. So if I was recording this audio and I went back, it would be a little bit quieter than it is when I'm sitting. And I know I went out of focus there. My lens is on manual right now, so that's that. We're practicing manual focusing. So let's go ahead and listen to this clip and we'll analyze it a little bit.
Hey ladies and gents, you may have noticed that I haven't been active on YouTube lately, but now I am back. And believe me, this was a much needed break. New videos coming up very soon. Cheers.
So you heard the fluctuation in the volume. That's, it happens. It happens. And voice leveler is how we fix that. So let's go ahead. Grab the voice leveler, if I can find it. Voice leveler, yay. Drop that on the clip again. And here, it even tells you, if your audio contains background noise, try using noise remover before using voice leveler to get great results. So it tells you that. I'm going to go ahead and click don't show this message again. Click OK. And now we can go ahead and play this.
Hey ladies and gents, you may have noticed that I haven't been active on YouTube lately, but now I am back. And believe me, this was a much needed break. New videos coming up very soon. Cheers!
Play through that again.
Hey ladies and gents, you may have noticed that I haven't been active on YouTube lately, but now I am back. And believe me, this was a much needed break. New videos coming up very soon. Cheers!
All right, now there's two other settings here. And that, by the way, evened it out a lot. And what I really like about this is it's showing you exactly what it's doing. I just got way far away from the mic there. So if you take a look at this waveform down here, you'll see the black is the original audio, and then we've got this yellow. I don't know if you guys can see it on your screens, but we've got this yellow around the black, and this is just showing you whether it raised the volume or not, and it's showing you exactly what it's doing. Now, if we turn on breath control and we go back and we play that again.
Hey ladies and gents, you may have noticed that I haven't been active on YouTube lately, but now I am back. And believe me, this was a much...
That sounded weird. Let's go back and check that out.
Hey ladies and gents, you may have noticed that I haven't been active on YouTube lately, but now I am back. And
yeah, so breath control only works on breath, and it makes everything else sound weird. Emphasis, however.
Hey ladies and gents, you may have noticed that I haven't been active on YouTube lately, but now I am back. And believe me, this was a much needed break. New videos coming up very soon. Cheers!
For this clip, emphasis doesn't really work. It almost makes it sound like there's a noise gate on the clip, and you can hear the noise kind of coming in and out of the clip. But you can play around with those settings, but mostly, honestly, I just keep these off, and I can do pretty much everything I need to do with just this dial. Again, keeping it between 50% and 75% typically gives you the best results, and I've used this a couple times. I used it on my last video, actually, my text reveal video, because I was having weird fluctuations in my voice from... I was just moving around a lot. I was like leaning into the monitor, and I was like going past the microphone, which was giving me some lower volumes and some weird echo. So I actually use voice leveler and reverb removal on that. We're actually going to jump into reverb removal right now. Now, we've already talked about how to prevent reverb, sound treatment, using the right microphone, but just in case you do get some reverb or a lot of reverb like you're about to hear, this plugin will do the trick. So let's go ahead and play this.
Hey y'all, just a mini update. In my upcoming videos about African nations, we will discuss Chad, Botswana, Togo, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Ghana. Stay tuned.
That was nasty. I also really want to know where that was taken from, because that is just a weird audio clip. Like the first time I heard it, I was like, what is it? What? I don't get it. Anyway, let's go ahead and throw the reverb remover on here. Drop it on the clip. And again, just like noise reduction, we have frequency focus. So we can do all frequencies, high frequencies, low frequencies, high and low, or mids. So let's go ahead and play those. Play that real quick.
Hey y'all, just a mini update. In my upcoming videos about African nations, we will discuss Chad, Botswana, Togo, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Ghana. Stay tuned.
So that didn't get rid of all of it, but it did make it sound a lot better. Let's go ahead and play it through. I'm going to push this dial all the way to 100 to see what happens.
Hey y'all, just a mini update. In my upcoming videos about African nations, we will discuss Chad, Botswana, Togo, Zambia, Zimbabwe, and Ghana. Stay tuned.
Please remember to pat the dough out.
That one comes next. So That was a very, very extreme example of reverb, and it didn't get rid of all of it, but it did clean it up a little bit. It made the voice a little bit more easy to hear. But it still doesn't sound as good as I would like, but it does clean it up a lot. So reverb remover is great. I get from time to time I'll get reverb in my audio because I have no sound treatment here, and even with the pencil mic it's not perfect, so I'll have to go in and do some reverb removal. But for the most part it works really, really well. And what I showed you there, pushing it to 100 and then bringing it back down, that's kind of the best way to use all of these plugins. Is you push it all the way up, you go past your mark until it starts sounding weird, and then you bring it back down. And the reason why you want to do that is basically you're tricking your brain, or you're training your brain, because if it starts off at 40%, right, and it sounds bad, it still sounds bad, the effect hasn't really done its job, you start pushing it up, and as soon as it starts to sound better, your natural inclination is to be like, I'm done, right? So if you start with the effect not really doing much, push it all the way up to where it's doing too much, and then bring it back down to the sweet spot, your brain will be calibrated. Basically, your ears will be calibrated to the clip and to the plugin, so you can more accurately find that sweet spot. Does that make sense, right? That makes sense. Again, guys, real quick, I'm going to take a quick pause here. If you have any questions, please, you can tell I'm kind of ignoring the chat today. I hope you guys are chatting amongst yourselves while you're watching me bumble around here like an idiot. But if you do have any questions about the Era 5 bundle, please use the link in the description. It'll take you to a form that you can fill out. I'll be going through that shortly. We've only got a few more of these effects to go through. So next we're going to talk about de-esser. Now we're going to talk about de-clipper. De-clipper is fun because de-clipper, let's come back here. De-clipper is, well, clipping happens when your recording is too hot, when your gain is up too much and you record and it gets loud and you get that distortion sound, right? It can also happen if you're using a limiter and you push your volume up too much. That limiter will brick wall and you'll start getting that distortion. It's basically the audio version of clipping highlights, if that makes any sense. So normally there is nothing you can do about clipping. It just doesn't work. Once it's clipped, it's done. What the de-clipper from the Era 5 bundle does is it actually attempts to recreate the waveform, so you can recover some of that clipped information and clean up the audio a little bit. So let's go ahead and listen to our original clip, and you'll hear that distortion that I was talking about where it's clipping.
Please remember to pat the dough out starting in the center and slowly press it out to the edge of the pan.
So let's play through that again. Watch up here in Master 1. You'll see that it's brick walling and it's not going above, I think it was maybe -15 or maybe a little bit.
Please remember to pat the dough out starting in the center and slowly press it out to the edge of the pan.
See what I mean? Like, it's just brick walling against -5 dB. We don't want that. So let's go ahead and drop our de-clipper on the clip and go ahead and play that.
Please remember to pat the dough out starting in the center and slowly press it out to the edge of the pan.
So it's not perfect. It's still a little bit distorted, but it sounds a lot better. And if we bring our output down, I mean, we were way up at 0 dB. So let's bring it down to -10 and play it again.
Please remember to pat the dough out starting in the center and slowly press it out to the edge of the pan.
And that was the standard quality. I would love to play the high quality for you, but for some reason, when you put on high quality, well, one, it affects CPU usage. I don't really have an issue with that on this computer, but it does get a little bit choppy, at least in Davinci Resolve, and you don't really hear the full effect of it until after you've exported the video and you're watching it back, and then it does. So that was standard quality that I showed you, but it's just a matter of turning declip on and off. There's no dial here like the other plugins. It's just turning it on and off and choosing the type of clipping. I still haven't 100%, if we're being honest, I haven't 100% determined what the difference between type 1 and type 2 is, but I do know that one of those two generally works, and for the most part, standard does a great job, and it'll clean it up to the point where you can actually listen to it without cringing, if that makes any sense. All right, we've got two more individual plugins, and then I've got something really cool to show you. First is De-esser. De-esser gets rid of the S sounds, the s, and sometimes happens with T as well. So De-esser will get rid of those sounds. Again, there's no real way to get rid to like prevent those sounds from happening. It just kind of happens naturally with the human voice. To a certain extent, maybe a pop filter might work, but not really. So I basically run a de-esser on every single one of my videos. So let's go ahead and listen to the original clip.
I just love the sea, the sun, the sand, the sound of the ocean. I want to sail around the world. But sadly, I'm seriously broke right now. We'll see.
I feel you, brother. All right. You heard the S sounds. You heard the similants. Let's go ahead and drop de-esser on there. Start playing that. Is my playhead where it needs to be? It is.
I just love the sea, the sun, the sand, the sound of the ocean. I want to sail around the world. But sadly, I'm seriously broke right now.
Sounds like
we'll see.
You've probably...
I just love the sea, the sun, the sand, the sound of the ocean. I want to sail around the world. But sadly, I'm seriously broke right now. We'll see.
You've probably observed that people...
Not bad. And there's two modes here, normal and broad. Let's listen to broad real quick. It doesn't do as good of a job if you ask me.
I just love the sea, the sun, the sand, the sound of the ocean. I want to sail around the world. But sadly, I'm seriously broke right now. We'll see.
You've probably observed...
I personally like normal. It's a little bit more, I mean, normal and broad. The difference between normal and broad is a little bit more broad. It's a little bit less, it seems to be a little bit less targeted. So I like to use normal. It sounds better. One other thing that I want to show you with the de-esser is this button down here, the difference button. If you click this, you'll only hear the S's. So let's go ahead and do that.
You've probably...
So what you can do, and I do this when I'm like manually doing de-esser, the Davinci Resolve de-esser, I'll do this too. I'll listen to only the S, and I'll search for the frequency where the most S's are living, and I'll drop that frequency. But this one, it works kind of similar, but when you listen to it, basically what you want to do is you want to make it, you want to listen to the S's, and then when you're using that dial, you can kind of zero in on how much you want to be removing. And so I personally don't use the difference button on this, but it's there if that's the way you prefer to work with the de-esser. it's there, and I think it's really handy. It's just not my typical workflow, so I just have that turned off, and I listen to the clip as a whole, and I push this dial all the way up until it sounds weird, and then I bring it back so I can find the sweet spot. All right, next. This one's fun. Plosive remover. Plosive remover is fun. Plosives happen when, well, this is a plosive. Did you catch that? That probably blew out your eardrums, and I apologize. But the plosive remover gets rid of that sound, that popping sound that you get in a microphone, which you can avoid that by, one, not having the microphone directly in front of you. And if you have to have it directly in front of you, use a pop filter. That pop filter is meant to break up the air so it's not so concentrated when it hits that microphone, and you won't get that plosive sound. So let's go ahead and listen to the clip that Accusonus sent us.
You've probably observed that people can be pretty rude for no apparent reason, especially online. I believe it would be better to build communication bridges through politeness, patience, and respect.
I wanted to share...
So it sounds to me like the microphone was directly in front of them. They failed to use a pop filter, or the pop filter sucked. Either way, we can fix that. Let's go ahead and find the plosive remover. Drag that on the clip. And start playing that clip back.
You've probably observed that people can be pretty rude for no apparent reason, especially online. I believe it would be better to build communication bridges through politeness, patience, and respect.
I wanted to share
You've probably observed that people can be pretty rude for no apparent reason, especially online. I believe it would be better to build communication bridges through politeness, patience, and respect.
I wanted to share
And again, we have that difference button where you can listen to just the plosives.
I wanted to share
And we have normal and extreme, which is fairly self-explanatory. It's just different levels of processing. So let's go ahead and get rid of that. All right. Now, this next tool that I'm going to show you is super, super, super amazingly cool. It's amazingly cool, but there is a bug in it. There's a bug in this tool that seems to only happen in Davinci Resolve. If you're here and you're in Premiere Pro or anywhere else that accepts VST plugins, then you won't have this problem. But there is a bug in this tool with Davinci Resolve. I will tell you about it. But Davinci Resolve actually has been in contact with Accusonus, or they've been in contact with each other, and the next version of Davinci Resolve that comes out, the next update, is going to fix the issue, or at least it's supposed to. We'll see, but that's supposed to be happening. The last tool that I'm going to show you is the audio cleanup tool. We're going to make this stream go a little bit longer because it's supposed to end in 10 minutes, but I'm going to go a little bit longer so I can answer your questions. If there are any. If not, we'll end the stream and that'll be that. But the audio cleanup tool, let me just play the clip for you, and then I'll drop it on there and show you, because I can't explain it without you actually seeing it. So let's go ahead and play this clip.
I wanted to share a major decision I've made. I recently quit my job to work as a full-time content creator. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while now, but never had the guts to actually do it. So, if you like my channel, please consider donating to help me keep it alive.
That's a pretty extreme ask, don't you think? Not subscribing, not liking the video, but donating right off the bat. Just quit his job to go YouTube full time, and he's just asking for donations. Anyway, that was a fairly clean recording, right? There wasn't really anything too wrong with it. It's a little muddy. It's definitely raw audio. There's definitely stuff that needs to be done in post. There's a little bit of cleanup that can be done, a little bit of EQ, but it's not horrible like the other clips that we've listened to. So let's go ahead and grab our, where are we? Era 5 Audio Cleanup Assistant. We're going to drag this onto the clip. Boom. So the Cleanup Assistant is really cool. You basically build chains, right? So you can put the individual plugins. So let's say I wanted to do a little bit of noise removal. I just hit this drop down box, come down to noise remover, and we add that in there. Let's say next we want to do a voice leveler. We can go ahead and do that. And then let's say we want to do a de-esser. We can do that. And then last but not least, Era 5 Voice Auto EQ, like that. So that's it. You can build them in a chain based on what needs to be done and in what order. So in this case, the noise removal will come first, then it applies the voice leveling, then it applies the de-esser, then it applies the voice EQ. And you can have it all in one plugin, which means it's only taking up one effect spot on your track or on your clip, and it's not a huge mess, and you can go through. Now, normally what you can do, the idea is that you can go through and you can tweak all of these plugins, you know, one by one until your voice sounds good, until your audio is clean. The bug that happens is when you start, I'm not going to recreate it because I do not feel like crashing Davinci Resolve right now, but what happens is when you start adjusting these plugins, unfortunately, there's two things that happen. One, when you start adjusting these plugins, it freezes up and it crashes Davinci Resolve. So that's a big thing, right? And that's what's supposed to be fixed in the next update of Davinci Resolve. The voice auto EQ has an issue when you hit the learn button. When you hit the learn button, for some reason, the dialogue gets really, really quiet. Now, luckily, because it's just waiting for audio playback, you could theoretically, if I play this, let's go ahead and move this around. There we go. So we'll start with this off.
I wanted to share a major decision I've made.
See what happens? It gets really quiet.
This is something I've been wanting to do for a while now, but never had the guts to actually do it. So, if you like my channel, please consider donating to help me keep it alive.
So that's a pretty big issue. And like I said, that should all be fixed in the next update for Davinci Resolve. But, you know, that's a pretty major bug there. It was really the only bug that I found. It was with this audio cleanup assistant. Now, here's the thing, though. For the time being, you can stack these plugins on clips and on tracks. So you can have multiple plugins on a single clip or a single track, and it works basically the same way, depending on the order that you put them on the track or on the clip. That's the order in which they will be applied to the clip. So it's not a deal breaker for me, considering even without this cleanup assistant, you still are getting more than you had in the Era 4 bundle. So you're getting the auto EQ, you're getting the voice deepener. That's new. I think those are the only two new ones. All the others have been updated from their previous versions. So even without, you know, even if you can't use the cleanup assistant, it's, you know, it's not a deal breaker because you're still getting a crazy value. Now, the really cool thing about this, though, is they have presets. So if I hit this middle drop-down box right here, we've got empty. So if I want to just empty it out, well, that's what it's on now. So I can go ahead and click empty this slot. And just do that for all of these. So you can have an empty slot. There's a default, which just gives you noise remover and voice leveler. There's the one that I really, really like that I use a lot is clear and loud voice. And that'll add a plosive remover, a de-esser, an auto EQ, and a voice leveler. So that's my favorite. I think it makes it sound the best. Let's go ahead and play that real quick.
I wanted to share a major decision I've made. I recently quit my job as a full-time content creator. This is something I've been wanting to do for a while now, but never had the guts to actually do it. So, if you like my channel, please consider donating to help me keep it alive.
And there you go. And like I said, normally you can start tweaking these as you're listening to it, really dial in the sound you want, but unfortunately that will crash Davinci Resolve. So I'm not going to do it now. So what I would do in the meantime, if you do pick this up, is I would maybe make a note of these presets and just drop them on the track or drop them on the clip in that order. And that way you can basically recreate the preset. But there's a ton of them here. I mean, you've got add clarity, audiobook narrator, bedroom noise removal, clear and loud voice, clipping removal, control room echo, deep radio voice, deeper voice, dialogue leveling, indoors vlog. Indoors vlog's pretty cool, actually. Low quality audio repair, nasal voice cleanup, outdoors recording, podcast dialogue, podcast ready, reverb removal, simple denoise, soothing voice, and 2 speakers, single mic. So there are a ton of presets here, and you can actually create your own presets. So let's go back to an empty one. Let's go ahead and go back and do what we did before. So we've got a noise remover, we've got a voice leveler. This time it's throwing something. We'll do a voice deepener, and we'll do the auto EQ. And what we can do is click on that middle drop down box, save as, we'll just say example preset, click OK. And now if I go back to an empty one, hit that drop down box, we can come down here and we've got example preset. Pretty easy, pretty cool. So hopefully within the next couple updates of the Era 5 bundle and the next update of Davinci Resolve, the problems with the cleanup assistant will be fixed, and you can start using that because it really is an amazing tool. But for now, just the single tools alone are absolutely amazing. Somebody just started using the weed whacker outside. That's fun. All right. Let's go ahead, get out of Davinci Resolve, and we're back. Let's go back into OBS, and we're there. Asking for money is not a hard ask. YouTuber lives matter too. All right. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump into, let's do a little bit of Q&A, and then we'll wrap things up and get going so I can, you know, go get my kid and all of those good things. So let's go into the form. Do we really not have any questions? No questions? Let's refresh just to make sure. Cool, no questions. So yeah, that's what you do. I mean, those plugins, like I said, simple, easy to use, one knob, and I might go ahead and turn down my headphones because that's driving me nuts. All right, they're simple, they're easy to use. It's a single knob, maybe a couple other buttons, but other than that, it's really, they're just such a cool set of plugins. I've enjoyed using these since the Era 4 bundle came out. They also have a pro version, which I do have, and there's some more reverb remover. There's Reverb Remover Pro and Noise Remover Pro and De-esser Pro. I think those are the only pro. Those are the only pro ones. Oh, an Era D, which is noise remover practice. No, it's Era D. Oh no, I don't have Era D. That's right. I don't remember what Era D does, but anyway, there is a pro version of the bundle. It's super it's super cool, but you do need to know a little bit more about audio in order to use that pro bundle. So if you want to do that, you want to dive in a little bit more, really adjust your settings, then you want the pro bundle. But the basic bundle is all the tools that I showed you just now, and it's super cool. And I think I lost the page here, so give me a second here. There we go. I'm just pulling something up to make sure that I do not have any yeah, there we go. So as far as the pricing is concerned, it is a monthly subscription. It's $7.99 a month. I mean, $8 a month for all those tools, I think is completely worth it. They're not paying me to say that. They paid me to demo the tools and, you know, talk about audio a little bit. But as far as pricing is concerned, $8 a month for all 9 single dial plugins, I don't know. I think it's a really good deal. I highly suggest it. So, but that's it. And I'll open it up to some questions. Please keep it on the Era 5 bundle. How do we get the plugin? You click the link in the description. It's not an affiliate link, but you click the link in the description that says check out the Era 5 bundle or something like that. And you click on it and you buy it. And then you download it, unzip the file, run the installer, and you're there. So Daniela says, I think if you compare with others, they're really expensive. I don't know. I think David Hunt, thanks for becoming a channel member, man. I don't think that $8 a month is that expensive personally. But the only thing I do wish is I wish they had a just single lifetime license. You only pay once. That would be super cool. But I think it's, I don't know. So if you guys don't have any questions about for 6 days, Isotope Iris 2 is free. Isotope's good, but Isotope is, again, a set of tools that you need to use for, you need to know a little bit more about audio to use them. The whole point of the Accusonus Era 5 bundle is to be able to give you the ability to clean up your audio when you don't know a lot about audio. That's why they make it so intuitive. That's why it's all single knob stuff that you just, you put it on and it's really more a matter of training your ears than anything else. So Isotope is really, really good. But they serve 2 different audiences. And I think that for people who don't know a lot about audio and don't necessarily know how to do these things with the traditional plugins, with the traditional tools, the Accusonus Era 5 bundle is definitely made for them. So, all right, guys. Well, since nobody has asked any questions about the Era 5 bundle, we're going to go ahead and I guess close out this stream. Real quick shout out to all of my channel members, including David Hunt, the newest member of the channel. Guys, make sure that you keep an eye out in that community feed. I'll be doing a members only post soon to schedule the members only live stream where we'll do a live editing training. So keep an eye out for that. In the meantime, thanks for making Wednesdays my favorite day of the week. I missed you guys. I missed you guys so much. I'm so happy to be back. I got a video coming out Friday. that is, I don't remember what it's about. It's talking about something. 3 more tips for smooth playback in Davinci Resolve. So if you're having trouble with choppy playback, my first video on the topic didn't work. Got another one coming out with 3 new tips. Make sure that you check that out. And in the meantime, I love you guys to death. And I shall lose my place on the computer. And I will talk to you guys later. All right. See ya. If I can hit the right button. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.